Welcome to our review on controlling reproduction. First thing to know then is when we talk about contraception, what do we mean? And quite simply, contraception is just a technique that's used to prevent pregnancy. And these can be split up into two groups. You've got hormonal contraceptives, which use hormones to disrupt the normal female reproductive cycle. And we've got the non-hormonal contraceptives, which are barrier methods that are going to prevent the sperm from reaching the egg, or physical devices that are going to release chemical compounds like spermicides which kill sperm, or chemicals that are going to prevent the egg from implanting within the uterus. So the most common type of contraceptive used is the condom. It's a non-hormonal method because it's a barrier. It's placed over the penis or inside the vagina to prevent sperm from entering the vagina. Big advantage to a condom is that it's also going to prevent the spread of STIs. So remember, these come for both male and female. Most common type are of course the male ones on the left hand side there, but there is such a thing as the female condom, which is on the right there. It's not just some weird bag. Second type is the diaphragm or cervical cap, which you can see on the left there. Again, this is a barrier method, it's non-hormonal, and it's inserted into the vagina to cover the cervix, which then prevents sperm actually entering the uterus. The diaphragm itself will be removed after 6 or more hours following sexual intercourse, but the downside to this is it's not effective unless it's used with the spermicide to actually kill the sperm. Third type of contraceptive is the intrauterine device, or IUD. Some of you might have heard of it referred to as the coil. So again, this is a non-hormonal barrier method, and it's inserted into the uterus because what it then does is it releases copper. Now, the copper actually prevents the sperm from surviving in the uterus and the fallopian tubes. So it's also going to prevent the implantation of any fertilized ovums. This is going to remain effective for 5 to 10 years, at which point it'll then need to be removed. So I've given you a little picture of it on the left hand side to give you an idea of the size in someone's hand there, and then to show you how it's actually implanted in a uterus at the bottom there. Next potential contraceptive technique is the pill. So we've got the estrogen and progesterone pill, known as the combined pill. So as the name suggests, it is a hormonal technique. So the whole idea of this is it's going to prevent ovulation. So it thickens the mucus from the cervix, stopping sperm from actually reaching an ovum. And it's going to prevent the implantation of a fertilized egg into the uterus wall. So what happens here is it's taken daily for 21 days for the menstrual cycle, then it's stopped to allow the lining to break down naturally. Another type of pill that could be taken is the progesterone pill. And again, this is hormonal, and its whole purpose is to thicken the mucus from the cervix, which stops the sperm from reaching the ovum. It's also going to thin the lining of the uterus to prevent implantation, and it can also prevent ovulation. Downside to this one is it's got to be taken around the same time every day. So for those women that are a little bit forgetful about when to take pills, certainly not a good choice. The last contraceptive technique we're going to look at is the intrauterine system, or IUS. So this is again a little coil, as you can see in the bottom left there, but this time it's a hormonal coil. So we insert it into the uterus just like previously, and it has the same effect as the progesterone only pill. Good thing about this though is it is going to remain effective for between 3 and 5 years. The last thing we need to consider is basically how effective these different techniques actually are. And one thing to bear in mind is that no form of contraception is 100% effective. The way that we do measure their effectiveness is as a percentage of effectiveness per year. So that's going to predict how many women per 100 each year are going to have pregnancy prevented. So if we look at the little table on the right there, you can see the male condom has an effectiveness of 98%. That means that every 100 women each year that use a condom, then in 98% of them, so 98 women, then they will not have a pregnancy as a result. 2, however, will. The female condom, you can see that drops to 95%. The diaphragm and cap, that goes down between 92 to 96 depending on how it's used. The IUD, estrogen and progesterone pill, progesterone only pill, and the IUS, those are all over 99% effective. So if we're asked to actually evaluate which of these is best, then obviously the one that has the highest effectiveness is the better option. So any of the bottom 4 there, because they're all over 99%, because it means that less than 1 woman out of every 100 per year end up pregnant when they didn't intend to be. Hopefully at the end of this video you can now state some examples of contraception, explain how hormones are used in it, and also evaluate different methods of contraception.